All right. I had to start this up a moment early because there are a couple people that aren't receiving notifications or any shit. Well, it's still not coming up. Or any type of info about these videos. Here we go. I can do this and send it to people that aren't getting the notifications. So it's just as well that none of you are here. You're watching me. I'm watching you. You gotta love a message like that. I look down at my phone, it goes, I'm watching you. And I'm like, well, I'm watching you. Hey, everybody. Oh, ho, ho. Whoop, whoop. What's up, y'all? All right, so a couple people weren't getting the links to the live streams, so I was sitting here and sending them to them. Yeah, spooky. No, it was just Jade. She's kind of spooky. Speaking of which, we'll be doing that interview here soon. Let's see what everybody had to say. All right, cool. We should have a couple more people in here soon. We are going to start out talking. There she is. That's why I look down at my phone and you're like, I'm watching you. I'm like, whoa, that's creepy. Look around like, are you this close? Like I put the rice water in my hair, so my hair is looking fantastic. This is creepy. Let's start out with a couple things before we hop into our topic tonight. Barking dogs. That shit sucks. And there's science to prove it. So it's not just me and my cussing. It's a real thing. Let me turn the phone off so we don't have to hear it. Ow! That the whole time. My fucking finger. You guys, look at my finger. No, really, this is the finger I cut open. That's why it's all purple. I'm really bad with like the camera back and forth thing, but I drove a grinder through my thumb, nail and up through the end. But it's good. I'm okay. Jeannie suggested I soak it in Epsom salt last night. Great fucking idea, man. That felt great. She literally told me to rub salt in my wounds, and I went, that's a good idea, and went and jammed my fucking thumb in a bunch of salt. What's up, Z Oliver? Good to see you. All right. Tarcisia wanted me to discuss, so we're going to start out with that. So thank you, Tarcisia. We are going to discuss, yes, I do. I actually found a lot of proof, and I even found a family that sued over the barking, and they even got, I forgot the name of the thing. That's not its technical name. To get actual proof as to how loud the dog barking was, and the lawyer said it was the equivalent of a jackhammer. So these people were really suffering. My hair is all crazy from the rice water. Tarcisia wanted me to discuss children walking dogs, specifically big old dogs like shit bulls and those kind of corsos and huskies and all that shit. Yeah, we'll get into all this anxiety about the barking. I know everyone's been really excited about it. I've actually been asked about this topic probably, hey, Christian Bale's here. Let's go again. I've been asked about this topic a shit ton, okay? So, we'll get into it. But children walking these large dogs, these dogs are very large and powerful. Most full-grown women, let alone some of these men, can't handle these dogs. And then you put these dog leashes into the hands of children, and they think it's cute. They think it's funny. I think half the problem this comes up is the fact that people are so brainwashed over time at dealing with their own dogs that they think that it's safe. They see them in the house and they're finger banging this dog. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. And I'll get into the trolls on IHD's live stream in a few minutes too. That'll be fun. Because I made a lot of finger banging jokes because I'm an asshole. But hey, Isabel, these children walking these dogs. And not only is this dangerous for everyone in the community when the dog goes jerking the kid down the street and attacking someone, attacking smaller dogs, attacking families, attacking children, but the child that's holding the leash getting drug onto the ground. I myself, and shared this in a video before, was hurt by a dog of which I was trying to walk when I was a child. It was actually labeled it a freak accident involving me and a dog, or walking a dog, and she ran me into the back of a couch, and the back of the couch disconnected, and all the couch nails went into my arm and snagged me around the couch and like ripped my flesh apart, and the dog just kept running down the fucking road. There's stuff like that. I've seen some pretty graphic videos that for some reason these dog people think is really funny. They'll show the child being like pulled down by the dog and like run across the pavement, and everybody's laughing about it into the rocks and dirt. And I've seen it happen in playgrounds. I physically watched a child get jerked down by a dog on leash in a park into a bunch of mulch chips. And the child jumped up screaming and crying, and everybody was laughing. They thought it was real funny. And then the child jumped up, and she had wood chips all in her neck, chest, and the bottom of her face. This ain't a joke, people. These are large, destructive creatures that can do serious damage to not only the people that the dog gets a hold of when it gets away from the child holding the leash, but to the child itself. This should not surprise any of us, considering how readily these parents allow their children to be around these things. They don't even think about it. They think that we're insane for even bringing it up. We're the assholes. We're the bad people for even mentioning that dogs could be dangerous, or that, you shouldn't be allowing your 50 some odd pound child to hold onto the leash of a 120-pound Rottweiler. That's not us. That's just facts. This is just science, people. You can't get around shit like that. This is dangerous. It's fucking dangerous, okay? Real quick before we hop into the topic about barking dogs. Maldives do not have dogs. Hey, J.E., the Maldives do not allow dogs. Tarcisia is right, and if I wasn't stuck where I was at and doing what the hell I'm doing, my ass might be out there right now. But here we are. So, shit. Let's hop into one more thing before we get into the dogs barking thing, which I'm excited to talk about, okay? The live stream today on IHD, for any of you guys that were there, I cracked myself up. But also, I'm an asshole, and I shouldn't do that. I should behave, rotten mauler. Oh, man, there were so many trolls in there today, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat what IHD said on a follow-up video before I get into how much of an asshole I am, and say that if you hit someone's name in the live stream, like right now, you go hit someone's name, little dots are going to show up next to the name to the right of it. This applies to whether you have a fellow dog hater around that you just can't stand their spamming. Thank you, Asher. I thought so too, but it wasn't cool. I should behave. I need to behave. I am a very polite, rational person, okay? Now look, if you're ever having a problem with anybody in a chat, rather than complaining or being a dick, or making your dad and your mom jokes and making yourself look like an asshole, even though it was very funny, and then he walked right into it by saying he slept with his dog. What was I supposed to do? It's like he knew to jump on that. He's like, I sleep with my poodle. And I'm like, oh, I bet you do. And he goes, I love her to bits. I was like, I lost it. I was dying. I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry. I got frustrated after dog nutter after dog nutter after dog nutter, and I lost my composure. Guess what, guys? I'm not perfect. I know. I shock myself. I'm not perfect. But if everyone would stop finger banging their dog, they wouldn't give me so much ammo to work with. So what? You sleep with your fucking poodle. What are you doing on a channel called I Hate Dogs talking about fucking your poodle? You know what I'm saying? Take that shit somewhere else. So I made all kinds of inappropriate comments. The guy's last name was Maloney, and I did know a fat guy whose last name is Maloney with a small baloney. That's true. And I have banged some people's parents. I'm getting up there in age, guys. It's going to happen. I mean, I'm a father fucker. I don't know why I use the term motherfucker so much. I should be saying father fucking this and that. I'm going to try to make that a thing. I think it would be fun. It was better than me leaving. I left for a minute. I was pissed, but you remember I've been working and I'm tired and my hands hurt. I'm all beat the fuck up. And then I thought, hey, I'm not going to let these assholes chase me out of my own safe place, my sanctuary. So I came back in and I said, I hump dogs instead of maybe. I never understand it, but I could have just blocked this person, which is the same advice I'm going to give you guys, which is the best thing to do. This is why I have such great moderators, so I don't have to handle this stuff. If something was to happen to you, tacos, I'd have to do all this shit on my own. And as time goes on and we continue to get more followers, I'm not going to be able to keep up as much. So, you know, there's going to be a time when that comes up. Every time he said something, I just turned it around. He was like, my dog has more brains than everyone in this chat room or something. And I was like, your mom gave me brains. You know what I'm saying? I just kept with the mom-dad jokes. And it's not a good look. I shouldn't do stuff like that. I should stay above all of that crap. But it's hard. And I was just getting frustrated. So I was just being me. It was a lot better than the things I could have said. I had all kinds of things. And I'm like, no, Ashley, don't say that and get kicked out of the fucking chat. You know, that's a good place that I like to be. So just hit him with the your mom, your dad jokes. And so I apologize for being funny, for being really funny. I'm funny. It was fun. He shouldn't have talked about finger banging his poodle. He walked right into that fucking joke. That is not even my fault. I don't even hold responsibility for that. So with no further ado, let's get into barking dogs. That shit sucks. We're all tired of it. I've got a shit ton of material to support this barking dog thing. Asher says, I like to ignore them. Oh, my email thing is going crazy. But they say the most triggering shit. You know, and this guy wasn't even being that triggery, although he was dumb, because he started out with saying that he bred pit bulls, and then he went on to saying to getting rid of pit bulls, so he was just confusing and annoying me. It was like all the dog nuts leading up to that really like led to me being like, fuck you guys. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So let me finish explaining that. Asher, if you hit anybody's name, like hit Beanie Girl's name in the live chat right now, and you just tap it, okay? 3 little dots are going to show up to the right-hand side of their name, okay? That's when you hit those 3 little dots, and it's going to give you options. Hide user, block user, that kind of stuff. I use that at will. When the moderators aren't around and they're not there to block things, I go ahead and just hit that bitch. Yeah, he was a troll. I hit that little bitch and the little dots come up, like I've got Asher's name right here, and I hit the dots and it's going to ask me, do I want to pin the message? This is for me as being the owner of the channel. Might be different for you guys. Remove comment. Now, if you guys, there was a little misunderstanding on IHD's follow-up video where people were like, oh, well, what if just random people start blocking content? It doesn't work like that, guys. If Asher went to, this is just an example. If Asher went to Beanie Girl right now and hit those 3 little dots, and then she put block user, that means Asher no longer sees Beanie Girl. I will still see everything Beanie Girl's saying. Shady would still see everything Beanie Girl's saying. But Asher would no longer have to see it. So like I said, this is a great thing to use, even if you're dealing with, I like to trigger them too, I can't help it. But even if you're dealing with a fellow dog hater that you've just had enough of them and they're just kind of driving you nuts, you don't have to leave the whole channel. Just go hit their name, hit those little dots, and block that one user. It doesn't change anything else. Christian Bale will still watch me be an asshole, okay? And she said, done! But it's a useful thing. And that's what IHD is suggesting people do on his channel, because he's done with having an overwhelming amount of moderators that he can't control. And as many of you know, he's had a lot of problems with moderators in the past. I'm not speaking on his behalf. I'm just passing the advice along, okay, so that everybody knows. So let's hop into this barking dog bullshit, all right? There's lots of crap to go along with this. Christian Bale and I had done some studies. Well, he mostly looked some stuff up. Has a couple of things to go along with this, okay? And let me get into some other shit for some other people as well, okay? Let's see. Okay, this one comes from Doggy Downer, okay? This is one of the followers that uses 2-3 different handles. They don't want to be known, and that's totally okay. He said, another thought, Ashley. Why should dog barking be part of the soundtrack of our lives? And aside from local dog barking ordinances, which are ridiculous to enforce, are there legal ramifications related to the quality of life issues? Not sure if you've covered this already. I'm also forced to wear headphones outside and not hear the birds and the wind in the trees, as these yapping demons raise my blood pressure. We confronted one neighbor about it, as her dog went into a barking frenzy when we walked by her house. And yes, I did bark at her repeatedly in a fit of frustration. LOL, it was awesome. And she told us if we didn't like it, we didn't have to walk down her street. What an ass. Well, lady, I've got news for you. It's not her street. Yes, Lisa, yep. I'm pretty good at doing a fake tiny rat. That's how they sound to me. Annoying little fucks. It's like a little Yorkshire Terrier. Either way. Terrence has suggested this to me. Bayou Raptor brought this up. We have all talked about this. Hey, Phoenix Sun, welcome. And we're all tired of it. So we're going to go into a bunch of people's discussions about this, okay? All right. Hold on. Let me find the rest of them. There they are. All right. We got Christian Bale, whom has sent me a couple things. And like I said, so we got some YouTube videos here. Let me check and see how long each one is. As I've said, I've been trying to avoid a whole lot of YouTube videos. I'm never going to learn to use my computer, y'all. We're all just going to have to deal with that fact. Okay, this is not a long one. Let's give it a listen. I'm going to turn up the volume. And from now on, when I show videos, I'm just going to show them on the phone. That way y'all can see them with me, in all fairness. And aside from that, I'll be reading the articles, and you can just watch me give you the burden stuff as I continuously talk about how much my fucking hands hurt from working. So, here is a psycho barking old man. This one cracks me up. It's a quick clip. This is a little bit of comedy, so enjoy.
Microchipped, cleaned up after, de-sexed, leashed, not allowed on the beaches or in the parks outside certain hours. So how is it that these two are roaming their neighbourhood, frightening the locals, and the council isn't stopping it?
Now, yesterday morning, I came out into the front yard and the dogs were across the road. And as soon as they saw me, they came bounding over. And I just made it into the front door into...
I'm sorry. Oh, that cracks me up. What happened, Isabel? There was a dog barking yesterday night until about 2 a.m. Couldn't fall asleep. Woke up late this morning as a result. Didn't get the work done I wanted today. What an inconvenience. That sucks. I run a box fan. A very loud box fan. Hey, WS90, good to see you. I can't stand listening to these fucking things bark. It's something I'm not willing to do. Okay, here's someone else with another video. And like I said, I'm kind of scanning the videos to make sure I'm not playing anything lengthy. I don't want everybody having to sit there. And if it's a video that actually has footage in it, as I explained from now on, I'll show you on the phone until that magical day that I finally decide to try again to learn to use my technology. When I watch people like IHD that has it down to a fucking fine science and he's struggling with it, I'm like, oh, hell no. Y'all will get to watch a live stream of me throwing my phone through the computer. I get really pissed off at technology. I'm pretty cool-headed usually, except for today when that guy was talking about finger banging his poodle. But, you know, I'm not perfect. Here we go. Oh.
Rises over Christchurch and Elaine hits the hay after a long night shift at the hospital. The nightmare begins. It barks, it howls, it whines, and it's ongoing. And it can be as early as 6:30 in the morning.
I love how this woman's dealing with a tremendously stressful situation, and the people that made this video was like, let's put Who Let the Dogs Out in the background. That'll be funny, because this woman's not suffering. It's funny, right?
Through to as late as 9 o'clock at night. I can sleep through virtually anything, but I cannot sleep through that. This is a daily routine she can no longer tolerate. Are you surprised how annoying that can be? It's unbelievable. I appreciate dogs are dogs, and you know, they bark when their owners come home. They bark when they're excited, but this is not any ordinary barking. This is constant, consistent, every single day that these guys go away. The neighbours moved in at Christmas, a time for peace on earth, but not on the street. You know, you kind of think, well, the dog will settle in, you know, it's only just new there. Yeah, well, it settled in all right. The barking just got worse. The dog's arrival couldn't have come at a worse time.
Yeah, this barking's been going on for just under an hour now.
Elaine's partner Richie had a serious heart condition. He couldn't really go anywhere. He was really sick. While stuck at home, he started recording the soundtrack to this suburb's life.
8:30, and you can clearly see it's getting quite dark. And this is what we're putting up with since 9 o'clock this morning. There's one of the neighbours telling it to shut its dog up.
So it's Richie. You start to get on edge, you start to get tired, you start to get quite shitty. Now, Elaine loves dogs.
All right. I've got more backup stuff. Oh, yeah, MP3 player can help. Christian Bale's right. Try screaming at it, Christian Bale. Terrence says, I really do hate the people in and around the barking closet. So yeah, you were one of the people that asked to hear about this, so I'm glad you're here. I gave you shit. YouTube videos of dog whistles. I play them through my portable speaker in the window. Sometimes I think it helps. Even the barking in this video is awful. Exactly. I totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, so let's get into some of these supporting that I have pulled up, okay? Here's one. There we go. Say my computer's moving slowly. Here's one that I looked up and skimmed through that I found very interesting. This is a feed, all right, a forum where people are talking about this. It's on a mental well-being support service that was actually created for the C-word virus, to help people with their mental health. A lot of people are stuck at home, and the topic on this is noise anxiety. Okay, and so I'm going to skim through this as there was a lot of interesting stuff. Someone says, this is my first time posting and I suffer from noise anxiety. My noise anxiety only exists in my home. I work in a noisy office environment. This is not a trigger at all. In the past, we've had noisy neighbors, air conditioner units, loud music, etc. that cause me to think about when the noise will happen again. This causes me to worry constantly, even to the point of missing out on enjoying things because I need to try and control the situations. At the moment, we are in our own house and the neighbors have a dog that barks all of the time. It's sensitive to everything and anything. And it's causing me anxiety because we can't even go into our backyard without being aggressively barked at. Guys, raise your hand if that's an issue for you in your yard. I know it is for me. I'll raise another hand for T-Dog. I know a lot of people suffer with this. So I'm tired of worrying and thinking that the worst might happen. I'd like to hear from anyone that suffers the same type of anxiety. And if they have any tips on how to deal with it. Let me get rid of a couple of these pages that are building up and come back there and see who's raising their hand. Because I know that other people are dealing with this. The barking is awful. Yeah, so I know. Yeah, raised, here, both hands and feet, here. You see what I'm saying? It's just everybody that's even in this fucking chat knows exactly what I'm talking about. Whenever I go out back, there's a yapping dog and a German Shepherd. And just this much of my yard, no joke, it's only 3 feet, is connected to this neighbor's yard to the side. And I can't even, I've gone out to sit. There's a mudroom connected to my house. I can't even sit in the mudroom. I'll set my lighter down. And this thing will start barking and howling like crazy. And I always yell out the door, yes, I know. I'm not allowed to sit in my own fucking yard. I can't even be in my own fucking house without this thing barking at me. It's getting old as fuck. Someone here says being annoyed by noises can also be known as misophonia. Okay, although I'm not qualified to say. If you've spoken to your neighbors about their dog constantly barking and nothing is done, you should go to the city council and report it. We've all tried that. This may cause a negative effect on how you feel. And you could put on some earphones. I was only reading this one because I want you guys to hear how it's just you change everything to make yourself more comfortable. Not, hey, your neighbor should take care of their barking ass dog. One of my customers has a barking ass dog. And I didn't know it was a barking ass dog, but she told me. Because we were out working in her yard and I looked over and she's got, because it's a tiny dog, she's got like a 3-foot barricade built all along the bottom of her fence. I assumed this was to keep shitty dogs from breaking into the yard or her dog from breaking out. And I asked her about it. I said, what the hell's up with all this? And she said, I hate fucking listening to the dog bark. My dog barks too much. So I just blind him out so he can't bark at everyone. I'm like, oh, go and do something away from where you are and try and turn these negatives into a positive. So just leave your house, okay? If people around you are agitated, this is only going to worsen how you feel. Try and step away. Another option is having desensitization therapy. Yes, you fix everything about you because your neighbor's dog won't stop barking. Fuck. Someone else says, I too have noise anxiety. I've never thought to label it before, but now it helps giving it a title. My husband and I moved out of our home 4 times due to barking dogs driving us both nuts. We've tried talking to neighbors. We've offered to take the bored dogs left at home all day for a walk. We've offered to have the dogs into our yard when I'm out gardening so that they'll stop barking at her, and the neighbors said no. We moved to the country. We moved to 5 acres, hoping that might help. The neighbors didn't have dogs when we moved here, but now they do. We're involved with the council and still nothing has been done. I'm afraid some people do not understand just how debilitating, distressing, and upsetting a barking dog can be on a person with mental health issues. A lot of people that don't have mental health issues don't want to hear that shit. The garden used to be my safe place, my spot of tranquility, where I could relax and unwind. Not anymore. I have tried all kinds of devices, from radios to booming stereos, earplugs, headphones, psychology, tried to tell myself it's just a dog barking, all with limited success, especially so on days when my depression is prominent and all I want and need is some peace and quiet to calm my mind. I'm not much help, sorry. Thinking about barking dogs makes me depressed and angry. Someone else says, for the most part, like you, my noise anxiety mainly occurs at home with neighbors' dogs barking. And it can also occur in a shopping center, like if someone's screaming and squealing, or when I'm trying to work and my colleagues are talking over each other. It's awkward at home because I love fresh air and having the windows open, but with the dogs barking, I feel like I have to lock myself inside of a prison. This is something I've heard from many people, or as Tarcisia had shared the story with us. Remember the dog that broke into the person's window through the screen and attacks her cats and shit, and she freaks out, and the cops end up coming, and they suggest her to keep everything shut up, shut the door, shut the windows. That's right. I can't have my windows open with the screens installed and enjoy the fresh air because you all have to have fluffies. God forbid I get in the way of that. I've read particular noises can be extra anxiety inducing if you've had bad experiences with them before, as if like you're already on your guard, which is certainly the case with me and these yappy dogs. I've had many sleepless nights in a former home because of dogs. Like some other people, I carry noise canceling headphones. They can be good, but they don't work in all situations. I've also read that plugging up your ears more often can help you make you even more sensitive. From what I've seen, there's sound desensitization therapy available as well. That pisses me off, even them mentioning that. It does. It just bothers me. If the barking or the other noise gets really bad, I jump in my car and get away somewhere quiet if I can. You got to leave your home. You know, you pay for this place. Your tax dollars help pay for the neighborhood, but, you know, can't. I do wonder if there's some hereditary element to this. She says her mother was sensitive to noise and had anxiety. No, I think it's just fucking dogs barking. Someone else says, if it's not in your control, then blanking it out with something else isn't a perfect solution. I hope something distracts you to the point so you don't feel like you are on edge against your will. No shit. Fuck some of these people. Someone else says, I suffer from noise anxiety quite severely. I did not know such a thing really existed until recently. I've dealt with it most of my life. I am now 55 years old, and noises that affect me are from people eating loudly, snoring, subwoofers, dogs barking. These things make me anxious, irritate me, and sometimes sick to my stomach. Okay? And then they go on further. Fuck. So yeah, these people just carry on and on about this. Let me just go ahead and get rid of this article, hop in here and see what y'all are up to. Yeah, and it's like your home is like a prison when you're stuck. It's terrible. Awful bullshit. Let's see what you guys are up to over here for a minute before I hop into the next one. Everybody was raising their hands with me. Next door neighbor's backyard, Isabel says. BD, I grew an extra hand somehow. Terrence said, if I slam my trash lid, a little dog next to me barks. And, you know, I have privacy fence. My backyard is all privacy fence. And then the other end of my backyard is cinder block that's 8 feet high. They still bark. They can hear me. You know, WS90 says, I had a neighbor who owned a schnauzer, and the schnauzer was crazy. It wouldn't stop barking. I wished I could feed it a stick of TNT. Schnauzers are very annoying. Slime says, my neighbor's dog still barks at UPS drivers so fucking much. It's loud, aggressive, and annoying. Yep. Shady says, the mutt right behind my house. Seizure barks nonstop, then whines for a while, then barks again, then whines more. Ugh, Lisa, yeah, oh my God, it's always the victims that have to adjust. And Terrence says, yes, change my life for the dog, hence turning on fans and not going outside. I know. When it comes to your sleep, turn on the fan at night, at least that. The anti-barking devices. I have an old school friend that's in his 60s, and he's got money, and he's tried every anti-barking device out there with no success until he tried the Good Life. It's a very powerful anti-dog barking mechanism that is also known to make Fluffy shit themselves. When you go through the reviews and you read about it, you'll see all kinds of dog nuts on there freaking out about the product because they claim as soon as their neighbor put up the Good Life, their dogs started pissing and shitting themselves uncontrollably. It's very powerful. So buy it now before it's made illegal. I tried one. Fantastic. When you live in the city, the only unfortunate part is you have to have one on each side of your house. My buddy that tried all the devices that came up with this one, he lives out in the country, so he only needed 2 or 3, and he just pointed them in each direction, and they literally work for like half a mile away, and he loves them. So yeah, JE says the way people, they pay people to walk their dogs, and they won't let someone walk it for free to help it shut up. JE, exactly. I think they were just offended because the neighbor asked about the dogs in the first place. And Asher, that's exactly what I was just saying. If you even try to talk to these people about shit, they get all uppity. Now, someone was on the Facebook page asking about how to get dogs to stop pissing on their tires. Well, I can't really give you one other than I can say this, that apple cider vinegar is a good deterrent. They hate it, but you can't put it on your tires. It can eat away at the rubber, right? But I have let all my neighbors know that I have laid down poison and got ant and snail poison up and down my fence line. So if you don't want your dog to get sick, don't be letting them over here by my house anymore. Guess who hadn't cleaned any turds up out front for well over a week? This fucking guy. Let's go. I have one of those anti-barking devices that doesn't work. Yeah, the Good Life's the only one I've heard of that works. I've heard nothing but bad things about all the other ones, so fuck Fluffy. So fucking crazy. You're not even safe in your own house. Exactly. The Good Life is on Amazon as well. I will put a link to it in the description of the video. How about that? Talking does not work. Okay. They freak out. Xylitol does work. Hey, Kai, good to see you. So, just a couple things to think about. Let's get back into our barking shit. And here is something I found rather interesting. This is from a group called barkingdogs.net. Okay? Why exposure to chronic barking is so profoundly debilitating. Introduction. People who have never suffered through extensive exposure to chronic barking often find it difficult to understand why it should be such an incredibly upsetting, debilitating ordeal. This section tells you why that is, beginning with a discussion of how our bodies react to exposure to chronic noise. The physiology of the upset victim. The various organs of your body are connected in a way you may not have thought of before. Your eyes, heart, lungs, digestive system, and the smooth muscles of your vascular system, among other organs, are all connected to your brain by nerve cells, which are also called neurons. Picture the way telephone lines run across the country connecting one city to another, okay? And they go through explaining. I'll briefly cut through this. Telephone line running from LA to San Francisco is on one continuous wire. It is not. It is on many wires, each connected to the next. When an electronic signal goes from one city to the next over the phone line, it travels in relay fashion from wire to wire until it reaches its destination. These particular types of neurons are like that. They carry electrical impulses from the brain in relay fashion. Only instead of running from city to city, they run from brain to the other organs of your body. Because the brain is wired up to these particular organs through the same relay system of neurons, it can simultaneously create change in all the connected organs at once by sending electrical impulses traveling along the neural pathway. If your brain sends electrical impulses along the pathway telling the connected organs to speed up, the pupil of your eyes open wider. Your heart will beat faster. Your breathing will increase as your lungs begin to work harder. Also, the smooth muscles of your vascular system will react in a way that reduces blood flow to your hands and feet and channels more blood deep into your body to the major organs. One exception is your digestive system. When the speed up message is sent, everything speeds up except your digestion, which slows down. The more things speed up, the greater sense of tension we feel. When you feel emotionally upset in an excited, high energy sort of way, you are in a state of automatic speed up. If your brain sends electrical impulses along the neural pathway telling the connected organs to slow down, your pupils return to normal size, your heart rate and breathing slow. At the same time, the smooth muscles of your vascular system channel more blood into your hands and feet and less to the major organs. As you may expect, when the slow down message is sent, your digestive system reacts by speeding up. That's why digestion is a more pleasant process when you're relaxed than when you're tense. Okay? The organs of the body that are beyond our conscious control, like those listed above together with the nerve cells that connect them, are known as our autonomic nervous system, or ANS. Notice when you hear the sharp report of a barking dog, it gives you a start. Physically, you feel yourself give a little jump, and you experience a sudden sense of tension. That feeling is the ANS system speeding up the inner workings of your body. As the barking continues, the neurons continually fire, and you become increasingly tense. When a dog barks, it creates a sound wave. Sound waves are physical entities that have a real physical effect on our bodies. We cannot see them, but they are there, and they carry the output of the barking dog to the sensory hair cells of our ears, which then carry the report sound to our brains. The brain, in turn, stimulates the ANS, which makes us feel tense. Hormones are chemicals manufactured within our bodies, and under certain conditions, those hormones are released into our bloodstreams by our body's various glands. Different hormones do different things. Hey, guys, quick joke. You want to know how to make a hormone? Don't pay her. They regulate our growth, our metabolism, our sexual desires, and our sense of well-being and distress. While the ANS makes us feel tense, it is the endocrine system that makes us feel anxious when we are in close proximity to a barking dog. That is not surprising, really. The hormonal endocrine system is regulated by a primitive part of the human brain that seems to respond instantly to primitive threats and messages of desperation that are implicit in the voice of a chronically barking dog. That's part of why barking drives people wild. To really appreciate the impact that a chronic barking has on your ANS and endocrine system, and thus your emotional state, you must also factor in the length of time required for our bodies to return to normal after an acoustic shock, like which we receive when a nearby dog releases sudden, percussive bursts of barking. If it happens only once, you may return to normal in a matter of seconds. However, with each additional episode of barking, your systems fire up more quickly, and it takes a little bit longer to return to baseline. If it happens frequently enough, you will still be wound up from the last outburst when the next one hits, with the result that you will be forever tense, and at no point will you be able to become truly relaxed in your own home. Some people have an ANS system that works like greased lightning, while others have a relatively sluggish function of the ANS. I'd say I'm probably letter A. The more readily your ANS system fires up, the faster your endocrine system will kick in, and the longer it takes your body to return to a relaxed state after you exposed to a flurry of barking. Lies. Henry Kissinger is every bit as attractive as Paris Hilton. Or, I, for one, would just sit all alone, bare-ass naked in Antarctica as to sip a margarita in a jacuzzi with the Laker girls, right? And there's really not much difference between living in a quiet home and living in a house filled with the sound of a neighbor's barking dog, right? The nature of noise. When the federal government wanted to push the Branch Davidians into the breaking point in siege at Waco, they bombarded them with sound, including the sounds of animals in distress. When the U.S. military wanted to drive Manuel Noriega from his sanctuary in Panama, they used the same strategy because they knew that chronic noise is an intolerable irritant that drives people frantic. The owners of barking dogs will sometimes tell you that the fact you are bothered by the sound means you have some deep psychological problem. It is not so. It is normal and natural for people to be irritated and upset as a result of exposure to sound, especially loud, sharp sounds that erupt suddenly and without warning. When you think of all the varieties of suffering that exist in prison, it is significant that for many, the most difficult aspect of incarceration is the misery that comes from being exposed to high noise levels. Chronic noise is just hard on people. When chronic noise rings throughout your home, as it does with a barking dog, it is even more upsetting than it would be if the sound occurred in a different setting. Because your home is your place of refuge. It's where you go to get away from relentless hammering of the outside world. If you cannot find refuge in your own home, then where are you to go? Wolves, from which dogs are descended, do not bark with the same continuous, explosive, non-stop stream of noise we get from today's dogs. In this book, Dog Watching, Desmond Morris describes the barking of the wolf as being modest and abbreviated. He says wolf barking is not particularly loud or particularly common, as is always monosyllabic. It is described as a woof sound. It's usually repeated a number of times. It never develops into a noisy machine gun fire so typical of the wolf's domestic descendants. In other words, dogs bark louder, longer, more frequently, and in more percussive manner than the animals of which they are descended. The explosive and persistent bark of the modern dog then is not an abomination of nature. It is an abomination of man. For some reason, some of our ancestors thought that when it came to barking, more is better. Some, across the millennia, some of those who came before us, bred dogs in a selective manner to create today's modern bark of excessive dimensions. You can see then that the barking we hear today is not truly a natural sound. As Morris says, the voice of the modern dog is the result of 10,000 years of selective breeding to produce the super barker that we have today. So the book, in case you guys want to hear it again, is called Dog Watching. Human nature. Think of a room full of people who are emotionally subdued. If a charismatic life of the party always knows what to say, tell a joke, personality blows into the room, he can single-handedly liven the place up and shift everyone into a positive mood. On the other hand, just one person who is angry or desperate, frantic, or one couple sniping at one another can drag everyone's mood down and spoil the party. That's the nature of people. We are social animals. Most normal, healthy people have a very strong tendency to absorb the mood around them. Now, think about the message a dog is sending when it barks. Either it's angrily shouting threats to do bodily injury, or screaming out that it's lonely and desperate, or shouting out a frantic alarm. The function of those is to agitate the listener, to force you to pay attention and make it difficult for you to focus on anything else. Of course, there is also the sound of a happy canine at play, but when the next door neighbor's dog is barking all day, that's not the type of barking that you're listening to. What you are hearing is the dog expressing rage, sorrow, desperation, or a frantic state of mind. It's just human nature for us to absorb those feelings and be drawn into the dog's chaotic emotional state. It's no wonder then that people find it upsetting to be forced to listen to a barking dog. I'm sure it is worse yet for those who are tuned in enough to dogs to be aware of the underlying desperation that drives the chronic barkers to cry out endlessly. A little bit of dog nuttery there. Think of all the TV shows and movies that have ever been produced. If you added those up, surely they would come to an enormous number. Yet, there has never been a single production that featured an off-camera dog unrelated to the story that barked frequently throughout the show. To a large extent, theatrical productions mirror real life. You can find some show that reflects every conceivable aspect of daily life, but no production has ever been set with a chronically barking dog in the background. The only television show that ever had dogs barking continuously throughout a scene are the reality-based show like Cops, where they take a camera out to the streets and record real-life events as they occur. Since chronic barking is a common element in life, doesn't it seem odd for one particular facet of our daily existence to be so totally excluded from depiction on the screen? It shouldn't. There are reasons why dogs bark frequently in Hollywood, never bark frequently in Hollywood. The sound of a barking dog in the background would make every show less enjoyable. The nuances of the spoken word, the strategic timing of a key line would become difficult to manage. No comedy would be as funny and no romance would be as touching. No drama would be as absorbing. Every minute the viewer watched, he would be struggling to push from his mind the tension and anxiety that are part of the parcel of the chronic barking experience. The sound of frequent barking would change the essential experience of making and watching the show, just as the dog barking next door changes the essential nature of our homes and the way we experience life within them. One of the things we all discover as we get older is that the way things are officially and the way things are in reality are often quite different. Officially, we all have the right to the quiet enjoyment of our property. That means your home's your castle. And at least in terms of legal theory, you have a right to expect quiet in that space. It also means that with a few exceptions, your neighbor does not have the right to do anything on his property that will interfere with your right to maintain and enjoy a quiet home. That's the theory, but the theory goes all to hell as soon as we factor in barking laws, which are almost next to impossible to enforce. Where the anti-barking laws are unworkable, the neighbor with the barking dog, in effect, absolved of all responsibility to control the animal. That means, in real terms, the neighbor has the right to keep a barking dog that negates your right to the quiet enjoyment of your property. It's sideways. The responsible neighbor is awarded a de facto right he's not supposed to have, which negates the right to the rest of us that we are supposed to have. If you catch your neighbors, if your neighbor takes advantage of the catch-22 nature of the barking laws and keeps a dog that barks frequently, you have no choice but to surrender the dog much of your control over how your property is used. No doubt about it. Under the circumstances, the neighbor's dog is in the driver's seat. By barking, he can at any time force you to stop what you're doing. But you have no way of influencing his activities, so you have to follow his schedule. You're powerless to force him to follow yours. You may decide you want to work out of your house while telecommuting to the office, but you can't make an important business call with a dog barking in the background. You can't get your work done with every room in your house sounds like ground zero of the Kindles you can't get your work done in your house when your house sounds like ground zero of the Kindles of Kingdom Come. So it's up to you. Rather, it would be the neighbor's dog that determines whether you make a long, expensive commute into town or spend your work days at home with your family. It's no problem for you if it's your dog barking. If your dog barks interferes your plans, you can bring him in the house or take other steps to quiet him. When it's your neighbor's dog, it's an altogether different story. When your neighbor's dog fills your home with noise, it is you and not the dog that must make accommodation. As odd as it sounds, it's true. And while you control your dog's life inside your house, it is your neighbor's dog that controls your life inside of your house. Can't do anything inside your home that isn't consistent with what the neighbor's dog is doing outside. If he barks frequently, you can't relax at home, nor can you study, work, concentrate, or have a mellow conversation or a tender moment. The neighbor's dog is in charge. He will not adjust his vocalizations to accommodate you, so you have to work your activities around him. You can't have friends over for a quiet dinner. Dinner, perhaps, but a loud, chaotic dinner is not quite the same thing. You certainly can't invite guests for an overnight visit and then situate them in a room while the neighbor's dog makes sleep impossible. And God help you if you must endure an illness in a sick bed dominated by the endless tyranny of a barking dog. What's it worth to be able to sleep, nap, work, relax, concentrate, entertain, and recuperate in your own home whenever you wish? What have you lost when an irresponsible neighbor takes that away from you? I can show you million-dollar homes where the occupant can't rely on doing any of these things because the behavior of a neighbor's dog is prohibiting them. By controlling how much you sleep, the rest you get, your neighbor is impacting your health. By controlling whether you are tense or relaxed, he transforms your physiological state. By controlling your ability to work at home, he impacts your financial condition and thus your future. When your neighbor so strongly influences your health, your psychological state, and financial well-being, he holds heavy sway over the quality of your life and impacts the fabric of your relationships. I think it's seldom recognized how sweeping is the damage done by people who leave their dogs to bark. Having a barking dog nearby turns your life on its head, especially when it comes to sleep. For most people, sleeping is the easiest thing they do all day. When you must sandwich your rest between outbursts from a barking dog, the nocturnal hours can become dreaded. In the land of abusive barking, you go to bed tense, you wake up exhausted. You may spend 8 hours in bed and still only get 3 hours of sleep. You may lie there for most of the night watching the clock tick your life away, waiting for the dog to stop. If he barks 3 times, you'll wake up 3 times. If he barks 10, you'll be up for 10. If he barks continuously, you won't get any sleep at all. You can waste hours in a single day just getting up and lying down, trying to work a nap in or a night's sleep around a barking dog. These are wasted hours of which you can't have any fun. You'll never get back. You don't get any work done. You don't get any sleep. You can't relax. You don't learn anything. This time is stolen from you, and it's gone forever. It's really maddening when you consider the dog's owner could bark train the beast with a mere 90 minutes worth of effort, which is a fraction of the amount of sleep that you may have lost to sleep in one night. If you have a toddler who wakes up easily and it's difficult to get back to sleep, your neighbor has a barking dog, just kill yourself. Get over it. Just do it now. As the commute gets longer and the computer technology gets better, there's a definitive trend toward people working at home. Every year there are more of us doing it. All you need is a telephone and a computer, quiet place to hunker down. When you work at a quiet house, you can think deeply and become absorbed in a state of sustained concentration. Just as important, you can plan your activities, which lets you work efficiently. But you can kiss all that goodbye the day your neighbor decides he's too broke to buy an electronic shock collar for his dog, too busy to train his new companion. Trying to arrange your work around a barking dog is pretty much like trying to sandwich your sleep in between his episodes of barking. Scheduling your time becomes impossible. When the dog is quiet, you work. When he sounds off, you take a break. If he barks all day, you don't get any work done, and you're not going to make any money. There is no relaxation in a zone of barking. Sex in the land of the howling hound? Not unless you find it arousing to make love in a kennel. Illness within range of a super barker. For many illnesses, the keys to recovery are rest, relaxation, and sleep, none of which are possible in close proximity to a barking dog. So for many, the course their illness follows is determined by the behavior of the neighboring canine. We're all fucked. Too much barking would make you sick as a dog. That's something the authorities need to keep in mind as the population ages, hospital rates rise, and there are even more ill, elderly people lying in their beds, much too sick to organize the neighborhood for legal action against the dog's guardian. A person's resilience can perhaps be best defined as their potential to regain their equilibrium following the introduction of a stressor. Therefore, the more resilient you are, the more readily you will be able to bounce back again and regain your composure after something goes wrong. All of us have a certain capacity for adapting to stressful events, but our capacity to adapt is not limitless. Anything that draws down your capacity leaves you less able to cope when additional events further tax your reservoir of resilience. Let's look at this phenomenon in real life terms and then relate it to chronic barking situations. If someone is extremely rude to you, will you become upset by it? Well, it depends. If everything's going great and nothing is bothering you to begin with, you'll probably be able to easily maintain your equilibrium when someone behaves provocatively. On the other hand, if someone's rude to you and you haven't had enough sleep, you're more likely to come unglued than you would be if you had had plenty of rest. In addition to not having enough sleep, you're also hungry. You're more likely to be unhinged by a stressful situation if someone's being rude. If you're underslept, hungry, and in pain, the odds are still greater that you will cope poorly with the stress. Point is that anything that injures you, drains you, distracts you, impairs your functioning, or keeps you from getting your needs met will render you less able to cope with life's events. The more these sort of negatives you are exposed to, the less well you will be able to roll with the punches because your capacity to do so is diminished by their presence. If adaptive negatives are in your environment in substantial numbers, you will be overwhelmed by them. Therefore, any deficits you have in combination with any stressors you encounter will impact your potential to maintain peace as you deal with the problems and challenges of everyday life. If you suffer from chronic pain, depression, or anxiety, or some other similarly distressing condition, you may have noticed that the condition fluctuates, sometimes getting better and sometimes getting worse. If you start to watch for it, you'll probably find that your symptoms either improve or deteriorate depending on your level of resilience. And since resilience is a reflection of your adaptive capacity, you can minimize your symptoms and maximize your level of functioning by keeping your adaptive capacity as high as possible. The best way to do that is to make sure you eat well, get enough rest, have enough fun, get enough sleep. Also, take care to remove from your environment those stressors that sap your potential to adapt. Exposure to barking reduces your adaptive capacity by interfering with sleep, rest, and relaxation, while simultaneously serving as a stressor that draws down your reservoir of resilience. Because barking saps your adaptive capacity, you may well find the symptoms of the ailment from which you suffer are much worse in an environment where you are exposed to frequent barking. Anyone who has ever had to live near a a super barking canine can tell you there is no situation so bad that it cannot be made worse by the presence of a barking dog. In fact, it is safe to say that any distressing event will be more traumatic when experienced in the vicinity of a barking dog, and any potentially enjoyable event will be less enjoyed. So, yeah. That was a mouthful there. That's what she said. But it was worth it. She also said that. Hey, Beppa Big. Nice to see you. Let's see what y'all got to say here. Someone said, nice, Ashley. Thank you. It's bad for the health. Why need a fluffy dog when you can have a pillow? Kai is right. Let's sue. Predator makes it dinner. Calls it barking. My daughter's studying this stuff in biology. Is she, Beanie? Very interesting. Dog barking ascends acoustic thresholds. Hi, Yusuf. Good to see you. Man, what a day. All of this reminds me of that Seinfeld episode, WS90. Let's see what anybody else got to say. Shady says, constant barking is pure torture. When one neighbor's dog, the next one takes up the slack. Yep. Oh, man, I'll tell you. It's a fucking nightmare, guys. Disturbing the peace tickets for every one of them. $1,000 a pop. Oh, what did Desgraciado say? Don't remove his comments. Let's see what he said. Nice fire. There ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, Desgraciado, try saying something. Don't block Desgraciado. I like him. He didn't say anything wrong. Don't be blocking Desgraciado. I like him. Terrence, I like you too, but I'll remove you as a moderator if you keep removing his comments. There's no need to hide him. Yeah, I unhid him. No, you don't. You're not getting banned. Yeah, he was repeating what I read from the article. They said, just kill yourself now. He wasn't talking to me, honey. He was repeating what I said in the article. Misunderstanding, but don't block people without running it by me first. I'm kind of weird about that with the moderators. He said, I'm going to go. He said, I'm going to go. Desgraciado, you know I like calling her IHE. You shut up. That's funny. You're funny. I like you. Hell no, you ain't being banned around here. I like you. You're one of my faves. No, he didn't say anything bad. He was repeating what I said in the article. So everybody chill. I know everybody's been on edge. Reminder for all the moderators. Nobody blocks anybody here without my permission. You have to run it by me first. Okay? Don't do that. So, let's see. Fuck, I've got one more thing to go along with all this barking crap. And if you go to I Hate Everyone, you tell her I said hi. All right, guys, this one's actually from a dog-loving group. Fun stuff. These guys are actually going to cover it as well. Fuck these people. Dog barking becomes a problem when it's too frequent. All dogs bark at some point, and this is okay. It's one of the ways in which they communicate. It becomes a problem when it's constant. Excessive dog barking affects your sleep. In a recent scientific study, this article tells us that noises that disrupt your sleep seriously affect your physical and mental health. Unpredictable and frequent noises can raise your blood pressure, and sounds that disrupt sleep at night have been associated with cardiovascular disease in the elderly. Intermittent noises like a dog barking have more adverse effects than a continuous noise, like the sound of a machine sound in the background. Even at nighttime, noise doesn't completely wake you up. It can change your sleep pattern from sleep to shallow sleep. This reduction in deep sleep can cause you chronic tiredness during the day. Wouldn't you like to know how to stop a dog barking? Well, excessive dog barking can disrupt your ability to concentrate as well. Noise produces a change in your stress hormones, which constantly alters many physiological and psychological functions. For example, a startling noise will only get your heart pumping faster, as they described in the last article. How to stop excessive barking? They're going to tell us, guys. I'm sure this is going to be great. Now that you know that this causes adverse health effects, it's time to solve the problem. I wish it were that simple. Find out why your pooch is barking so much. You can keep a written log of when and why your canine friend is barking. This will help you identify the trigger and either remove it or train your pet to be quiet. Once you have found the cause, pick the right way to deal with it. Never punish your dog for barking, they say. This could lead to more serious issues like fear and biting. Well, good, then you can just put it out of its misery and save your neighbors and everybody. Save the world today. Kill a barking dog. I will also like to discourage you from using electronic collars. These work through punishment and most of the time do more harm than good. I don't see how. Following is a list of reasons your dog might be barking. Fear barking. The canine is just as stressed as you are. Teach him to calm down. Bored barking. Your pet needs enrichment and fun activities. Excited barking. You have a happy pooch that is overjoyed with life. Alarm barking. Warning, warning, your asshole dog is telling you there's an intruder, including anybody who does anything in their own backyard because we're not allowed to. Resource guarding. And attention getting barking. I got an excuse for everything these fucking things do. I tell you, I can't fucking stand it. I'm so sick of these people and their bullshit and the way they carry on. Disgraciado. Oh, hey, Vox. Good to see you. Oh, God, you're killing me. I promise Desgraciado won't happen again. It's misunderstanding. I promise. Please don't go cover yourself in jelly and adopt 2 pit bulls. You know, I always make the joke that I'm going to turn into a pit bull one day in my anger, and I'll just start attacking everyone, and then y'all can start a GoFundMe and make a bunch of money and become rich. Let's see. Vox says, Jelly, try poop. It's more effective. Oh, the high blood pressure. Oh, he said, Maurice, good to see you, says, I was lucky when I was younger. My family had a dog that didn't bark. Some dogs bark less than others, and look, they made a good point in that article. If your dog is barking, not anybody here, obviously, but, someone who actually owns a dog, we don't want Disgraciado to kill himself with pit bulls. We love him. Hey, J-Red, imagine sitting there writing logs about every time your dog screams. Dorks! Seriously, they got someone sitting there going, today, Fluffy barked at a ball of paper rolling down the street. Is that reactive barking, or is that, that's intruder barking. That's defense barking. Give me a break. Let's have the dog whisperer visit our neighbors and their dogs. I'm sure that will somewhat fix the problem during the time he is there. Christian Bale. Or vomit. Dogs love eating that. It's okay, Terrence. No big deal. It's okay. Usually I email with everybody about it. So it's not the end of the world, honey. Seriously. Totally cool. I can fix whatever happens with the moderators anyways, because I'm the fucking channel owner. It's a burden that I have taken on. At this point, I could use some rum, and I don't even drink anymore. Beba Big J-Red is... J-Red's referring to these dorks sitting there writing in journals. They suggest these people sit down and write in a fucking journal about every little thing the goddamn dog does. It just kills me. It's fucking insane. Dorks! That's my thing. I love calling everybody dorks. So the one video I started out with, motherfuckers, dorks, and dog haters. From now on, it's fatherfucker. I gotta drill it in my head. Dogs will eat epoxy, right? Good fucking question. Let's ask the phone, shall we? Let's find out if this is a thing. I would love to see a dog eat a bunch of epoxy and accidentally end up with a mouthful of it. Gross. First article that comes up when I opened it was Meet Pirate the Pit Bull, a lovable service dog who is helping change stereotypes about bully breeds. Kill me now. Oh my God, I hate it. These people. And then the second article, Arizona Humane Society rescue group partner to save rats in Peoria neighborhood. Rats are like a big problem out there. Shit, let's find out. Do dogs eat epoxy? I want to know. Let's learn together, shall we? Learning time. Until it mauls someone. That was exactly... On its own, the resin is not considered toxic to dogs. That means the cured resin is safe. However, uncured resin, which has been mixed with a hardener, can be toxic to dogs. However, if he's eaten uncured resin, this could make him very sick. So they'll eat it when it's still in its like mixing form. Interesting. Dogs like coolant, so they do. Yes, they do. Hey, you take a steak, you remember me, and jam it full of espresso beans, then roll it in xylitol and dip it in some antifreeze and just let the shit be done with. I know I shouldn't talk like that. Everybody's always telling me to be nice, but I'm not nice. Now we're going to read some comments. Time for some comment stuff. Oh, yes, this is a new story, actually. Loose pit bulls severely attacked a man, causing hospitalization, as well as a 12-year-old boy and a golden doodle. This was in Franklin Park, Illinois. It just took place today or yesterday. And this came from T-Dog. It says, 77-year-old Franklin Park man remains hospitalized for the 9th day. Okay, after suffering extensive wounds and an attack by 2 pit bull dogs. They also attacked a 12-year-old boy and a golden doodle dog in the village on September 19th and left bystanders in a panic. Fabian Guzman, speaking from his bed at the hospital, said he underwent skin graft surgery, been recovering from bites to his legs and face. Police reports describe the bites as cutting through the flesh and down to the muscle and tendons. He was dropped off at his brother's house on September 19th to pick up a bicycle. He was on the bicycle near the intersection when he saw 2 dogs that initially seemed to be fighting with each other, but soon attacked him. I just started riding my bike, not even a half block down from my brother's house when they started attacking. I was trying to escape by getting to my car, but one dog grabbed my legs and the other grabbed my legs and the other grabbed onto the other leg, so they were heavy and pulled me down. One was trying to bite my neck, and then they started to bite my face. According to the police reports, Guzman's wife, who was in the car, also suffered a bite to her finger while trying to help her husband. He's former staffer, Eric in the Morning host. Guzman, who lost what police reports described as an excessive amount of blood, suffered open wounds to his legs down to the muscle and tendons, lacerations to his face, chin, ears, according to the report. This weekend, he said he was still in a lot of pain and did not know how long he would remain hospitalized, saying, "I don't think I'll be getting out soon." Before attacking and mauling Guzman, the 2 dogs began their September 19th rampage by attacking a golden doodle belonging to a Franklin Park resident. He said he was walking his dog, stupid asshole. I hate the dogs' names. And the 2 pit bulls charged and attacked. He added that the stupid asshole was a family dog and considered a family member. Blah, blah. Yeah, we know. I'm so sick about this. He's getting better and needed surgery. He added that he believes the pit bulls are a danger to the community and should be euthanized. After attacking the golden doodle, one of the pit bulls attacked a 12-year-old boy who was walking to a barber shop from his mother's car in the parking lot. According to police reports, the boy suffered deep cuts on his back and a bloody chin. The boy said he initially thought the dog was running toward him to be friendly, but then the dogs attacked him. Calls to the boy's family were not returned. After attacking the boy, according to police reports, the pit bulls attacked Guzman. A man who was driving near the scene in a white vehicle stopped so that Guzman could try to climb into his vehicle seeking refuge. At first, Guzman was unable to shake the dogs off his legs, but eventually he succeeded and climbed into Garcia's vehicle. Reports say Garcia drove away from the scene and delivered him to the paramedics. They noted that Garcia's vehicle was full of blood. Hey, Joseph. Holy shit. Yeah, Decon. Someone else had mentioned that. If we're getting into all the poisons on dogs again, I love it. This story I had to go and find on Facebook. T-Dog tried to send it to me this morning, and it's being heavily redacted. Okay, so we're discussing rats. We were having a lot of trouble finding any of it. Okay, so it was this whole thing. And guys, let's go over this Myrtle Beach attack real quick before I stop all of this. Let me find the first one here. Here it is. And then there's an update. So we'll go ahead and cover this and then the update. And then we will go on and draw this to somewhat of a close. This is an article from dogsbite.org. What? Okay. Love those guys. But this sucks. 2021 dog bite fatality. Woman killed by pit bull. She was dog sitting in Myrtle Point, Oregon. Dog had a history of attacks. Okay, there was an update on this one. So let me see if I can start at the beginning here. Here it is. 42-year-old woman is dead after being violently attacked by a dog. The attack occurred Friday, September 24th, in the woman's apartment. Police identified the victim as Amber LaBelle. The dog was known to LaBelle. It was not a random attack. Let's see. Another neighbor was holding a huge pit bull back from trying to get at Amber even more. Pit bulls typically repeatedly attack their victims. I immediately went to Amber, the commenter wrote. She was lying on the floor unresponsive. There was blood everywhere. I tried to locate all of her injuries to apply pressure to stop the bleeding. An officer came in and we carried her outside. I did everything I knew to do to keep from all of my training. Paramedics and officers, everyone worked together to help Amber. She was airlifted to the medical center where she died of her injuries. Okay, so let's go to the update. One of the updates. The large dog that attacked and killed 42-year-old Amber LaBelle was a 120-pound pit bull American bulldog fucking mix. A police officer shot and killed the dog after the animal tried to attack him while performing first aid on LaBelle. Both of LaBelle's daughters, aged 5 and 8, witnessed the vicious attack. This was not the first time this dog has attacked an individual, according to the district attorney. We have received information that this is not the first incident where this particular dog had attacked other individuals. It's our understanding this dog attacked 2 minor children in Springfield in July of this year. Investigators have so far determined the dog was owned by Sarah Nichols of Springfield. For some reason yet to be determined, she had placed the dog in the care and custody of a person named Jeremy Robertson. On the day of the attack, Robertson left the pit bull with LaBelle to run errands. Robertson and the dog had spent the night at her apartment. The dog had been put in a bedroom with the door shut and secured. Then LaBelle's ex-husband dropped off their children for visitation. LaBelle opened the bedroom door and was promptly attacked by the dog. The attack was witnessed by the 2 children. One was able to leave the apartment to go and get help. So these children watched their mother die. Though we have not commented on this issue in some time, the above scenario is quite common for dangerous dogs with bite histories. Nichols placed her 120-pound biter into the care of and custody of Robertson, LaBelle's boyfriend. Robertson couldn't leave the biter at his own home. He had brought the biter to LaBelle's apartment, where she would be taking care of her 2 young children the next day. The dog had previously bitten 2 minor children in July. The only aspect missing from this story is which shelter agency adopted the biter out to begin with. According to Fraser, Nichols resides in Springfield, with its 125 miles away from Myrtle Point. Springfield is also in the greater Eugene area. The dog could have come from a number of Eugene animal shelters. Dogs with bite histories often cycle through multiple owners and jurisdictions. Very, very, very true. Fuck, man. Yeah, we were discussing rats. How you guys doing over here at the rat discussion? Hi, Kenny. Good to see you. Yeah. And you guys been having a whole conversation. Let's see what's going on over here. All right. Oh, my live chat froze up. Oh, there we go. Joseph keeps trying to make me president. It's bacon. No, it's decon. I love it. I don't know if I want to be the president, but if I could do anything about dogs, but they don't really get to do shit. It still has to pass, through the Senate and all this crap. Little Smokies with decon and slingshot it to them. I like it. The shit bull that attacked this woman did, J.E. The cop shot it dead. So there's that. Well, shit, guys. I feel like we've been here for a minute. I'm going to end you with a very disgusting story just to fuck you guys up because I think it's funny. I'm an asshole. All dorks. So I'm gonna fuck you up with this one. Who the hell sent me this? Oh, T-Dog sent me this. So she's a fucked up individual just like me. Oh, you guys, brace yourselves for this amount of disgustingness. It's coming right at you. This article came from this time last year. I caught my girlfriend getting pleasured by her dog. Articles like this are why I don't know how to do multiplication. There is a group that teaches people how to do this, okay? It's not just one, there are many. And this guy is writing the group. This is slate.com. They said, "Dear Slate," or How to Do It, they called them, "saw my girlfriend of 6 months being orally pleasured by her male neutered dog. She doesn't know that I saw her. I don't know what to make of this. We both come from fairly conservative backgrounds and have limited sexual experience. I can't imagine discussing this with her, but I can't get the image out of my head. I wonder if he still had sex with this lady after that. That's fucking disgusting, right? I really like this woman. One side of me wants to stay, wants to say, it's no big deal. Just another way to masturbate. But this is bestiality, right? Yes. Isn't it technically illegal or at least immoral?" he asks. I keep wondering what she's thinking while we're having sex. And my appetite for oral is nil now. This is sad because we had been communicating well about sex, first thing for me. I can't talk about it with friends like I usually would. So I ask you, how weird is this? What would you do? Here's their answer. Like I said, this is your disturbing comedy to end on. What you describe, doggone it, is bestiality. Any sexual activity with an animal that is invited or facilitated by a human is bestiality, by definition. Rover taking it upon himself to hump your leg doesn't quite qualify. It is illegal in most states, not all. I cover that in my video on bestiality and zoophilia. Though somewhat counterintuitively, possession of pornography that features bestiality is legal in nearly every state. Look but don't touch, says the law. The prevailing understanding is that because animals, which are sentient beings, cannot consent to sex, having sex with them is unethical. I could call it a couple other things. As far as I can tell, studies have not been performed on the traumatic effects of bestiality on animals, so sex researchers who may be reading, there's a topic for you to pursue. But it's generally a good rule of thumb to assume the worst and not have sex with animals. I understand your desire to write this off, and I think bestiality, wow, just another way to masturbate, would be a catchy if untrue slogan for an animal lover's lobby. Well, I suppose it's conceivable that one may enjoy the feeling. I'm not even going to read that sentence because there goes all of my math ability completely. It's not like your girlfriend was on a deserted island with no vibrator and a Labrador. Getting eaten out by a dog is a choice. God, the other sentences were worse. I'd also be a little insulted that she opted for a dog's tongue instead of mine if I were you. In fact, if she were sexually attracted to the dog, the troubling thing would be less her urge than the execution of it. It's one thing to have fantasies. It's quite another thing to enact them. Zoophilia is not an uncommon fetish, though. I wouldn't say it's widely practiced. You can decide whether that fits your definition of weird. Her behavior is well within the reasonable boundaries of a deal breaker. Is this someone you want as a sex partner? A life partner? Want to share your girlfriend with a dog? That seems rough. You're only 6 months into things. Be happy you discovered it now while it's still early. I was looking to see if there were any other comments. Nope, they're just all talking about other weird sex stuff. Oh, my brain. That seems rough. He totally said that. Just give your brains a minute to catch up. It's not new. It's not new. Fucking disgusting. Totally said it. Yeah, and he's still with her, so he's just as gross to me, okay? You know he did. You know he did, J.E. You know he did. It's not a new thing. Oh, I've never seen. Oh, it's all good. He's a good guy. So don't worry about it, buddy. See, like I said, he's a good dude. Fuck. He wants a three-way with the dog and her. Vox, I agree. He wanted someone to say, like, yeah, it's totally just like masturbating. You should jump in next time. Oh, what's up, Bob? Good to see you. Oh. Vox. Vox. I just need a second. Vox, goddammit. Vox says, how much you want to bet he's actually talking about himself? I don't know why that didn't occur to me. Damn it. Okay. I'm good. I'm here. Woo! You know, I can't. Okay, I'm here. Call this dude's girlfriend before the dog gets. Oh, Vox broke me. That was it. What little sanity I had left is out the motherfucking window. What? Like Cartman at the... He said, no, Pony, not like that. Y'all are killing me. You know, you actually made me cry. I consider myself a very funny person, but you just humbled me. Both you and Desgraciado. Okay. Damn, Vox. Woo. Damn. Okay. I'm in it. We're back. I'm in the game. Shit. I was gonna try to read something else and end this on another note. Like, you know, maybe we shouldn't end it on that note. Maybe I can get through this, you know? Okay, all right, I've got it. I've got a short thing we can end this on. Fuck, that I could tear apart. Whew, you got my nose running and everything. I'm dying over here, y'all. I got a short thing. No, don't shut up. Don't you ever shit up. He said, I'll shit up now. That was an accident. Don't you start doing shit ups. I'll make a mess. No, don't you ever shut up. But now I see why that girl was stalking you around. You funny as a motherfucker. I wouldn't leave you either, just to hang around. I love funny people, man. Funny people are my weakness. You know? Fuck. That was okay. I've got my breath back. I got something we're going to end this on instead of weird dog oral sex stuff. All right? Here we go. Let's just... Don't ever shut up, Vox. Don't you ever shut up. And I better see you on more videos, damn it. You made my day. All right. Shit, man. All right. Oh, is this asshole article that's trying to make fun of us dog haters. This article is from several years ago, but I'm going to tear it the fuck apart. Just like Vox just did that joke and just fucked my well-being up. Hating dogs sometimes feels like society's last taboo. Whether you get sweaty palms when you see a Jack Russell on the street, or you don't much fancy a smelling, drooling Labrador sniffing your feet, or other places. I won't be able to get that out of my head now. You know the strange mix of embarrassment and dread a distant bark can conjure, but no matter how offended owners get, a fear of dogs or xenophobia isn't something you can just shake off. If you're the kind of person who looks at man's best friend as if he is Cerebrus, here are 21 things you won't understand. They started out like that, and they seem like they're trying to be understanding, right? And then low-key, you're kind of like making fun of people. You'll see what I mean. So we're going to rip it apart. And some of it is relatable to us dog haters. Number one, dogs are literally everywhere. They are on the tube, sniffing around the school run, clogging up local stores. You have to practice constant vigilance. Number 2, every walk through the park is a test. You don't run, walk slowly, don't look them in the eye. But yeah, you could take that one if you had to. I'm thinking these kinds of things, right? Number 3, every coworker, fellow drinker, and commuting buddy is a potential source of canine pictures and sudden encounters. God help you if you can't muster a simpering look in time. People will freak out on you if you're not sympathetic to their dog. Number 4, because while you see a slobbering hellhound, your mate expects you to react like he's just shown you a picture of his newborn baby daughter wrapped in ribbons and bows. I think we can all kind of relate to this. Like I said, 1 or 2 of them, they're kind of poking fun, but for the most part, they kind of stick with it. Number 5, anything less than adoration makes you a social pariah. We all know what that's like. Number 6, you'll probably have to wait patiently while your friend explains, while you may not like other dogs, hers is different, and you're gonna love Rex. You'll love him. No, I don't. 7, go on, just touch her. She's so friendly. No. 8, they just can't understand the unique fear you feel when you knock on a new door. Your heart is in your mouth while you wait in trepidation to hear the horrible scamper, slide, and bark that heralds what's on the other side. Number 9, that doom-laden tapping of claws on linoleum. I've heard that from a few people. Chef specifically has told me how much she cannot stand the sound of their nails on the floor. Number 10, all you can really feel about the dripping maw and wet nose it's coming towards you is total disgust. Number 11, you know that no matter how clean the house you're in is, it still has that dog smell. Number 12, you are genuinely grateful when the host understands and takes Fluffy to another room. 13, you become a champion at making chair forts to hide behind when the pub or restaurant you are in welcomes dog friends. And your mates know to rally around when one gets a bit too inquisitive around you. That's nice to have friends that will at least protect you. This is for people that are actually physically afraid of them. 14, even though you've been known to jump when you see a cat or a small child out of the corner of your eye, they are just the right height and the adrenaline is already pumping. Number 15, meeting another dog hater is like being a member of a secret club. Hey dog, what's up? Yeah, you hate dogs too? Yeah. You get together and fantasize about a dog-free future. It would suit you both perfectly if the fangs and the dire wolves of this world would just disappear altogether. 16, and you hold up horrific news stories about dog bites is kind of vindication. Now, these are the points where I'm like, they kind of low-key poke fun, but they're not wrong if they didn't realize like how not wrong they were. 17, even if you are aware on some rational level that it's not the dog's fault, the owner should have trained them better. See what I mean? There's another one of them. 18, you don't really have a problem with guide dogs and search rescue hounds. 19, when you get a dog taking control of a tractor is kind of funny. Even you get that a dog taking control of a tractor is kind of funny. I don't find that funny. 20, because you are trying to be big and grown up and brave about the whole thing. You see where I said they get into like poking fun at the person who has a phobia? 21, deep down you know, no matter how unacceptable it is, you just hate dogs. I'll take number 21. You know. You think you're dumb. I don't think you're dumb. Fox is a legit shit. I think Fox is the best. So, yes, people were getting oral sex from their dogs. Fox is crazy, and I love that guy. What do you call dogs that like humans? It's a joke question. Knock, knock. What do you call dogs that like humans, Joseph? A dog hub? Someone actually sent me a gross video of a blonde. I seen that fucking video. Yeah, so, no, it's totally true. No, you won't be normal again after seeing that. And Beba Big, don't call yourself dumb. That's not a good way to talk about yourself. You should be bringing yourself up, not down. Fox says, I got a cousin that used to send me dozens of gross shit until I blocked him. It was freaking me out. Yeah, the two girls. I had a friend who was sending me all kinds of stuff, and she sent me that fucking video where the monkey's like banging the frog in the mouth, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to watch something get killed with oral sex. What the hell is wrong with you? And she's all laughing about it. This is a woman. And I'm like, no wonder you've been single for so fucking long. You're insane. I think Beba Big is very intelligent, and I don't think he should put himself down like that. I don't know exactly what happened there, but only degenerate dog fuckers enjoying the constant noise of a dog. Two guys, one cup is worst. Yeah, we can tell where I've been on the internet, huh? Man, we really went off track tonight, huh? Whose list is this? This is, I'll put it in the description, guys. Yeah, they don't have a logical, coherent argument to refute anything we're talking about. Exactly. Noise is their weapon. All barking is organized, believe me. They use, and Yusuf, I would have to agree. At a certain point, you look at how much these dogs attack, how many people they hurt, the parasites, the money that gets spent on them, the whole ordeal, and they're allowing them still out there. They know what the noise damage is doing to us and everything else, and they allow them to keep existing. This is so intentional. This is not an accident. This isn't just about people loving Fluffy. Bob says so many people refuse the facts, make them feel bad, and blindly accept things that make them feel good. How do you convince someone like that of anything? Exactly. So we're going to wrap this up. We have had a nice long night. I encourage all of you to take the facts to the comments section. I debate people. If they're worth debating. If they're just stupid fucks, then they're just stupid fucks. As I said before, I don't know who all seen me on IHD's live stream earlier, but I was a total asshole. I didn't debate shit. I just made a shit ton of your dad, your mom jokes. And it was funny, but shameful. I'm still laughing. Have a good night, Shady. Thank you. Thank you to all the moderators. You guys are so appreciated. We're all going to make mistakes. No worries about that. Nobody's perfect. I can always go back and fix things. Remember, guys, hit me up in that email. Don't forget about the petition. It's still going around. Still need signatures on it. The Facebook page, if y'all have stupid fucking Facebook, which pisses me off more every day, but we have a Dogs Are Garbage Facebook page. Desgraciado loves to trigger them. I'll do both. I really like triggering people. That's my favorite, especially when they're stupid dog nuts. So, guys, make sure and check out all the descriptions and the bouts and the links and all that crap. We had some great articles. We'll be covering some more stuff that Morpheus wrote for us on the next one. Yeah, there's the petition for anybody who's looking for it. Beanie's really good at this stuff and throwing this shit up. If you haven't signed the petition, please do. It will help. It's IHD's petition that he created. Let's see. There's the email Beanie put up. And then also, I'm sure she's about to throw up the Facebook page as well because she's she did the Facebook page, my email, and the petition. Beanie is a badass. Thank you so much. J-Red, good night. Good night to everyone. I appreciate all of you so much. Fuck Fluffy. Protect yourselves. And until next time, wear your steel toe boots and bash that motherfucker with a mag light if you have to. And I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.